Hello, welcome back to the video. And in this video, I'm going to do the November 19 paper 1 past paper questions for Math SL. Okay. So, question 1. In an arithmetic sequence, U2 equals 5, U3 equals 11. So, part A. Find the common difference. So, common difference is just U3 minus U2. 11 minus 5 equals 6. Question B, find the first term. So we have second term, we have the third term, and we also have the common difference. And so how can we find the first term U1? We know that U2 minus U1 also equals the common difference, 6. Alright, and then we sub U2 equals 5. So which means that U1 is negative 1. C. Find the sum of the first 20 terms, so S20. So arithmetic sequence, we can use the formula book, this formula, n over 2 times u1 plus n minus 1d, okay? So S20, 20 over 2 times u1 plus 20 minus 1 times common difference, 6. So 10, so negative 2, 19 times 6. Okay, what's 19 times 6? 114. So plus 114, which is 112, and it's 1120. Okay, that's the S20. Okay, question 2 is a Venn diagram probability. I mean just Venn diagram, yeah. So in the class of 30 students, 18 are fluent in Spanish, 10 are fluent in French, and 5 are not fluent in either these language. Yeah. The following Venn diagram shows the event fluent in Spanish and fluent in French. The values M, N, P, Q represent the number of students. So we know Spanish 18, and then 10 of them are fluent in French. And 5 are not fluent in either these two languages. So 5 is outside, okay, outside the two circle. Okay, which means that M plus N plus P here will be the remaining students. So 30 minus 5 will be 25. Okay. So part A, find the value of Q. We know Q equals 5. Write down the value of Q, no need to calculate. Part B, find the value of N, the middle part. So we know M plus N plus P equals 25. But when we're just adding these two circles, which equals 28. Why it doesn't equals to 25? Because the middle part, okay, the overlap area, they overlap one more times. So N will be 28 minus 25, okay, 3. Okay, then we can find P and Q. So Spanish total is 18, so M will be 15, so that this whole circle for Spanish will be 18. And P is just 10 minus 3, 7, okay. Question 3. Let Gx equals x squared plus bx plus 11. It's a quadratic formula. The point -1, 8 lies on the curve of G. So find the value of B. Okay, we can just sub the point, x equal -1, y equal 8. So 1 minus b plus 11 equals 8. So what's 11 plus 1? 12. So 8 minus 12 equals negative b. So negative 4 equals negative b. So b equals positive 4. Right? Part B, the graph of f of x equals x squared is transformed to obtain a g. So fx is transformed to obtain a graph of g. So transformation. Describe this transformation. So for transformation, you know A, B, C, D. Okay. Vertical stretching, horizontal stretching, horizontal translation, and vertical translation. So let's write the gx in this form first. That means we have to do a completing the square into a first test form. So let me rewrite the gx. X squared plus 4x plus 11. Alright, so let's do completing the square. X squared plus 4x. So we have to add some terms. It's b over 2 squared. Okay, we added b over 2 squared here. B is 4. And then plus 11. And then we subtract the same things, the b over 2 squared at the back. Okay, to pretend that we didn't add anything. Okay, that's still equal. Okay, but for the first 3 terms, we can just combine to make a square here. X plus 2. Why is that a positive 2? Because the value inside this bracket is a plus 2, is a positive 2. So we just write the value inside bracket here. And then plus 11 minus 2 squared is 4. So x plus 2 squared plus 7. Okay, yeah. So we see the first test, the coordinate of the first test will be -2 and 7. Okay, remember the first test form is x minus h squared plus k, where the hk are the x and y coordinate. So now the h will be -2 because x minus -2 is +2 here. So for fx, the original first test is 0, 0, okay, the origin. But now it's translated to -2 and 7. Okay, these 2 points here. So that means the graph shift left by 2 and shift up by 7. Okay, so that's the transformation. Left by 2, up by 7. Okay, that's it. Question 4. Okay, binomial expansion. So consider 11a equals 11 factorial a factorial 9 factorial. Find the value of a. Okay, so how can we expand 11a? By looking at the formula book, this one, okay, the binomial coefficient. So we can just follow the formula. So n factorial, that is 11 factorial. R factorial will be just a factorial, and then n minus r factorial. So that means 11 minus a factorial. And now you see, these two is pretty similar. 11 factorial, a factorial. But the 9 factorial will be this one. So that means 11 minus a equals 9. So a equals 2. Alright. So question B. Hence or otherwise, find the coefficient of the term x9 and the expansion of x plus 3 to the power 11. Okay. Okay. So now, because we don't know which term contains the term x power 9, so we can find the nth term, which is what we call tr plus 1, and which you can just copy this thing here. Okay, 11r, nr, a to the power n minus r, and then b to the power r. And we know n is 11, so I'm sorry here. Okay, 11r, a is x, and then b is 3. So n minus r, 11 minus r, and then b to the power r. Because we don't know which term contains x9, so we don't know the r values. Okay, and now we can make this term equals x power 9. So x 11 minus r equals 9, so r equals 2. Okay, so that means the coefficient will be 11 to x power 9, and then 3 to the power 2. Okay, so the coefficient will be these two. Okay, 3 squared times 11 2. Okay, so what's 11 2? We can use the part A answer here. 11 2. 11a is 11 factorial, a factorial, 9 factorial. So which means 11 2. So 3 squared is 9. 11 2 will be 11 factorial, 2 factorial, and 9 factorial. Okay, so what's factorial? We can expand it. 11 factorial is just 11 times 10 times 9 times 8, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I can just stop here because I can say that's 9 factorial. And 2 factorial will be just 2 times 1. And then 9 factorial, I can just cancel it out, right? Yeah. And that means the answer is like 9 times 11 times 10 divided by 2. So 2 times 5 is 10. So I can just simplify to 9 times 11 times 5. Okay? So 9 times 55, right, equals 495. Okay, that's the coefficient. Question 5. Consider the functions of f with derivative f prime of x equal to x squared plus 5kx plus 3k squared plus 2, where x and k are all real number. Okay, so part A. Show that the discriminant of f prime of x is k squared minus 16. So discriminant delta equals b squared minus 4ac for all quadratic functions. Okay, so let me rewrite this one. I mean, actually no need, because a equals 2, and then b is 5k, and then c will be just 3k squared plus 2. Okay, a, b, c, ax squared, so 2x squared, a is 2, bx 5kx, okay, and then the remaining will be c. Okay, so discriminant b squared minus 4ac, so b 5k squared minus 4 times a times c, 3k squared plus 2, and then we can expand 25k squared minus 8, 3k squared plus 2. Okay, so 25k squared minus 24k squared minus 16. So that is k squared minus 16. Yeah, so we can show that the discriminant of f prime x is k squared minus 16. Part B. Given that f is increasing functions, so find all possible values of k. So if f is an increasing function, that means the slope is positive. So slope positive means f prime of x is a positive values, right? So f prime of x is positive, and you see f prime is a quadratic functions. If we draw it, then it's U-shaped because a is positive, and it's always positive for the y value. So f prime of x will be like this. Okay, maybe on this part or on this part, it doesn't really matter, but you see this one, this curve is above the x-axis, doesn't touch the x-axis, so which implies that the delta is smaller than 0 because no solution, no root. I mean, the quadratic function doesn't touch the x-axis. So delta is k squared minus 16. So k squared minus 16 is smaller than 0. K squared smaller than 16. Okay, so we know the two values plus minus 4. Okay, the two critical value will be plus minus 4. Okay, but what's the range? What's the possible value of k? It's between -4 to +4. Okay, so that's the answer. Alright, question 6. Let f of x equals 4 cosine x plus 2 x over 2 and then plus 1 for x is between 0 to 6 pi. Okay, focus on this domain. Okay, beware of this domain. Find the value of x for which f of x is greater than 2 root 2 plus 1. So f of x is greater than 2 root 2 plus 1. So first of all, we can just eliminate the plus 1, and then we can divide by 4. So which means root 2 over 2 cosine x divided by 2. Root 2 over 2 equals 1 over root 2. Okay, so 1 over root 2 here. Why do I write it? Because it's a paper 1 non-cal. So how can we solve the angle, cosine angle equals 1 over root 2? I just memorized the triangle 1 over 2 is an isosceles triangle. I mean equilateral triangle, two sides the same. And right angle triangle, the two angle will be 45 and 45. So cosine adjacent over hypotenuse is 1 over root 2. So cosine 45. That means the angle is 45 degrees, but we have to write in radian. So 45 degrees equals, how to change degree to radian? Times pi divided by 180, okay? So 45 times 4 equals 180. So it's pi over 4. So pi over 4, okay? I'll just write equal first, okay? And then for this greater than the 2 root 2 plus 1, I will just plot the graph later, okay? But cosine, I mean, let me rewrite it again, okay? I'm solving cosine x over 2 equals 1 over root 2, and then the angle equals pi over 4, okay? So I just stop here first, because this one is inequality, okay? I just make them equal, and then I solve the angle. Right? But if this one is x over 2, then we divide by 2 to see the domain of the x over 2 will be 3 pi. So we find all the answer until between 0 to 3 pi here. So look at cast, C-A-S-T. For cosine positive, region A and region C, so it will be theta and 2 pi minus theta. So the other answer will be 2 pi minus pi over 4. And then just 0 to 2 pi. What about 0 to 3 pi? So one more semicircle here. So that would be 2 pi plus pi over 4. So x over 2, pi over 4. 4 times 2, 8, 8 minus 1, 7 pi over 4. And then 9 pi over 4. And then multiply each of them by 2. So it will be pi over 2, 7 pi over 2, and 9 pi over 2. So these three are the possible answer, okay? Now, but what is the value of x for the fx is greater than 2 root 2 plus 1? So let's draw it out, okay? So if we draw the cosine graph for this one, so b is 2, that means the period is no longer 2 pi, will be 4 pi, okay? Remember, the period is affected by the b values, so the period equals 2 pi over the b, which is 0.5. So 2 pi divided by 0.5 will be 4 pi. So we can draw the cosine graph like this, but the period is 4 pi. So 4 pi. And now the domain will be 0 to 6 pi. So I just stop at 6 pi here. Okay? Just stop at here. Okay? 6 pi. From 0 to 6 pi here. Okay, so let's say f of x is 2 root 2 plus 1 is a positive value. I just randomly draw a straight line here. Okay, so this part is 2 root 2 plus 1. Okay, so see those intersection points here. So these three values. Okay, I think this one will be pi over 2. Okay, and this one is 7 pi over 2. Yeah, 7 over 2 is 3.5. 4, so the left hand side will be 3.5 pi. 7 pi over 2. And then the last one is 9 pi over 2. 9 over 2 is 4.5. So here's 4.5. Yeah. And then now you see the curve of fx is greater than these values. So that means this part and this part. Okay. So the final answer is when x is between 0 to pi over 2. Or between these two values. X is between 9 pi over 2 and 7 pi over 2. So that's the answer for question 6. Question 7. Let x and y be normally distributed with x and 14a squared. So we know this is mean and this is a variance. So which means that the SD is a. For y, another event, okay, another variable y, the mean is 22, but they have the same variance, so the same standard deviations. So A, find B show that x probability of x greater than B equals probability of y smaller than B. So let's draw the normal distribution curve. 14 is here, okay, the mean of x, and for the mean of y, maybe like this, 22. Okay. The area for x is greater than b, so it's something like, let's say here, let's say that's b. Okay. Wait, no, actually it should be this part, the intersection points. X is more than b is the same as the area for y is more than x. So that's y graph, that's x graph. So this part, and this part is equal. Okay, so you see this is a midpoint. So B is a midpoint between 14 and 22. So 14 plus 22 divided by 2. 36 over 2. So B is 18. Part B. It's given that P for x is greater than 20 equals 0.112. So which means the shaded area is here 20. Is 0.112. And remember here, 20 and 14 differ by 6. So it's 6 away from the mean. The probability is 0.112. Sorry, 0.12 here. And find the probability for y between 16 and 28. So y graph, the mean is 22. 16 to 28. Yeah. So both x and y have the same standard deviations. So which means that the probability if 14 to 20 is different by 6 units, right? This part probability will be the same as this part because also 6 units from the mean. Okay, so this part probability will be the same as this part. 0.5 minus 0.112. Okay, and that's 0.388. Okay, what about this part? Actually the same as this part. Okay, that's symmetric. It's different by 6 units from the mean, and also here is like the mean minus 6. Okay, also 6 units from the mean. So this part is also 0.388. So now we are finding the probability between 16 and 28 in the variable y, so which means the whole area. So the probability will be 0.388 times 2, okay, 0.776. Okay, for section B, question A. A small cubic box has a rectangular base of length 3x, width x, and the height is y cm. For x and y is positive values. The sum of the length of width and height is 12 cm. So write down the expression for y in terms of x. Alright, so part A. Sum of the length, width, and height. So 12 equals y plus x plus 3x. So 12 equals y plus 4x. And write down the expression of for y in terms of x. So we make y subject. 12 minus 4x. Okay. Part B. The volume of the box is v cm cubed. Find the expression for v in terms of x. So volume of rectangular base cube is like width times length times height. So 3x times x times y. So we have to replace the volume in terms of x. So we have to replace the y by 12 minus 4x. Alright, and then we expand it. 36x squared minus 12x cubed. So that's the expression for volume in terms of x. Part C. Find the dv dx. So find the derivative of the volume functions. So differentiations. Put the power down. So 72 and then x power 1 plus 36 x squared. Part D, D1. Find the value of x for which volume is maximum. So volume maximum means the derivative or the rate of change of the volume equals 0. Okay, so imagine there's a curve volume against x, and the maximum point, the maximum volume, the slope equals 0. So which means that the derivative of volume functions equals 0. So we can solve this functions equals 0. 72x plus 36x squared equals 0. And then we can factorize 36x. 2 plus x equals 0. Hold on. Okay, sorry, my bad. Like here, it's minus subtractions. Okay, so negative, and then 2 minus x. So 2 minus x equals 0. X equals 2. So when x equals 2, the volume is maximum. And then justify your answer. You have to show that when x equals 2, that's a maximum point. Okay. Now we can put any values more than 2 and more than 2 to check. So let's say here's 2. We can sub 1 maybe in 3 to check the slope is like increasing, so positive, and then decreasing. Okay, so it can show us that it's a maximum point. Okay, so let's find dv dx where x equal 1 and the same for x equal 3. Okay, so when x equal 1, we sub it back to here. 72 minus 36, so it's positive values. Okay, positive 36. What about when x equals 3? 72 times 3 minus 36 times 3 squared is 9. Okay. (216) minus 334, so it's negative values. So you see, when x equals 1, the slope is positive, increasing, and then at x equals 2 is 0, and then when x equals 3, so like after 2, the slope will be negative, so increasing and then maximum and then decreasing. So that's how you show that the point where x equals 2, the volume will be maximum. And then part E, find the maximum volume. So find the maximum volume. We know that when x equals 2, the volume is maximum. We can find the volume and just substitute x equals 2 into these functions, into volume functions. 36 times 2 squared minus 12 times 2 to the power 3. So 36 times 4 is 144 minus 96, so it'll be 48. Okay, 48 is the maximum volume. Alright, question 9 is a vector. The points A and B has a position vector of -2, 4, -4, and 6, x, 0, respectively. Point C has a position vector -1, k, 0. Let O be the origin. A. Find in terms of k for A1 OA dot OC. So OA is just the point A, -2, 4, -4. OC is just point C, this vector. -1k 0. So we're going to find the dot product between these two vectors. So for dot product, we can look at the formula below. Topic 4 vector. So dot product here, v dot w, v1 w1 plus v2 w2 plus v3 w3. So basically, it's just x times x plus y times y, 4 times k, plus z times z, okay? So it's 2 plus 4k. And this one, yeah, 0. Part 2, OB dot OC. So we have OC, but what's OB? OB actually is the same, 680. So OB dot OC equals 6x0 dot -1k 0. So which is 6 times -1, so it's -6. 8 times k is 8k, and then 0. Alright. Part B. Given that AOC equals BOC, show that k equals 7. So AOC is something like AOC. So this angle is the same as the BOC. So show that k equals 7. So we can use two vectors, OA dot OC, OAOC. Remember, for using an angle formula, okay, you have to check whether both vectors pointing to the same directions, okay, both point to the same direction, point up or both point down, okay. So OAOC and OBOC. So let's write this triangle formula first. So for this triangle, cosine AOC equals, so we can use a cosine angle formula for vector. V dot W magnitude V magnitude W. So V dot W means OA times OA dot OC. That means it's just like 2 plus 4k. And then magnitude of OA is just root 2 square plus 4 square plus 4 square. So 4 plus 16 plus 16. And then magnitude of OC. So I'm not going to calculate magnitude of OC, okay? Because later I can just cancel it out. And then cosine BOC, the same. OB dot OC is just -6 plus 8k. And then magnitude of OB is 6 square plus 8 square. 36 plus 64. And then times the magnitude of OC. Okay. So since these two angles equal, so these two are equal, right? So 4, 16, 16, so 20 plus 16, 36. OC magnitude. 36 plus 64, root 100. OC magnitude. So we can cancel the OC magnitude. 2 plus 4k divided by 6 and divide by 10. 8k minus 6. So we can like cross multiply. 2 plus 4k times 10, and then 6, 8k minus 6. Okay. And then, okay, 20 plus 40k, 48k minus 36. Okay, so 48 minus 40, so 8k, 20 plus 36, 56k. So 58 divided by 8 is 7. So that's how you show k equals 7. Okay, the last question. Calculate the triangle area of AOC. So triangle area we can use a triangle area half AB sine C. So here, half AB sine angle C. So A and B are the two sides that, C is an angle between two sides. Okay, it's an included angle between A and B. So we can write the area formula. Half AB is OA magnitude and OC magnitude. And then sine AOC. Okay, so 1/2. What's OA magnitude? So OA magnitude is this one. It's a root 36. So it's 6. And then OC magnitude. So we have OC -1K0. So actually OC is 9170 because we know K is 7. So square root of 1 square plus 7 square, 50. Sine AOC. So we don't have sine AOC, right? But we have cosine AOC. Because cosine AOC is just this one, okay? 2 plus 4K over 6. Okay, so let's put it back. We know K is 7. 6 times the magnitude of OC, which is square root 50. So 6 times 5 is 30. So it's 5 over root 50. Okay. And then we can simplify it. Root 5, root 10, and then 5. So we multiply both top and bottom by square root 5. So that will be 5 root 5, 5 root 10. Okay, and then cancel it out. And which is 1 over root 2. Okay. Because root 10 equals root 5 times root 2, and the 2 root 5 cancels out. 1 over root 2. So cosine AOC is 1 over root 2. So how can we find the sine AOC? Because we can use a cosine square x plus sine square x equals 1 formula. So in here, Pythagorean identity, okay? Cosine square theta plus sine square theta equals 1. So cosine square angle is 1 over root 2 square. So it's 1 minus 1 over 2. Okay. And then, so it's just 1 over 2 square root. That's sine AOC. So it's 1 over root 2. So it's the same. Okay, and now we can replace this 1 by 1 over root 2. So area is 1 over 2. 6 root 50. 6 times root 50 times 1 over root 2. So that cancels out. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 3 root 50 divided by root 2. Let's simplify it. Okay. So root 50 is like root 2 times root 25. And cancel out the root 2. Root 25 is 5 times 3 is 15. So the area is 15. So the last question is question 10. Let Gx equal p to the power x plus q. For x, p, q is all real number, and p must be greater than 1. The point A with x and y 0a lies on the graph of G. And let f of x equal the inverse of G. So inverse means x, y swap. The point x and y coordinates swap each other. The point P lie on the graph of f and its reflection of a in the straight line y equals x. Okay, so reflection in the straight line y equals x means like the swap x, y again. So part A, write down the coordinate of point B. So B is on the graph of f and it's a reflection of point A in the straight line of y equals x. So reflection, that means swap x, y. A is 0a, so B is just a 0. Or you just swap the x and y. Part B, the line L1 is a tangent to the graph of f at point B. Okay. So tangent line is a straight line with equation y equals mx plus c. Given that f prime of a is 1 over ln p, find the equation of L1 in terms of x, p, and q. So we need two things. We have the point a0. We also need to find the slope of the tangent line. So slope of tangent line is f prime of x. Okay. At point B, where B has the x coordinate equals a, so f prime of a is the gradient. Okay, the gradient, which is given 1 divided by natural log p. Okay, so the gradient is given, and now we can write the equation y equals mx plus c. We just put it back. The slope is ln p, 1 over ln p, x, a, and then y is 0. We sub the point a0 into the equation for x and y, c. So c equals a over ln p. So that means the equation is y equals mx plus a over ln p. In terms of q, in terms of xp q. So we have to think about how to get rid of the a. So actually, a is the point on the on this gx graph. So we can sub y equals a and x equals 0. So we can do it here. A equals p to the power 0 plus q. So p power 0 is 1 plus q. So a can be replaced by 1 plus q. One plus q divided by ln p. So that's it. That's the equation of L1. Okay. L2 is a tangent to the graph of G at point A, okay, and has an equation of ln px plus q plus 1. Okay, the slope and the y-intercept, okay, mx plus c. And L2 passes through the point -2 and -2. And the gradient of normal to G at A is 1 over ln 1 over 3. So if I plot the graph like this, let's say that's the curve of G, and wherever that's at point A, with 0a, the coordinate. Okay. Okay, let's say that's the tangent line, and that's the normal straight line. Okay, and then the gradient of tangent is like ln p. From this equation, we can know that tangent slope is ln p, and the normal slope at point A is given here, 1 divided by ln 1 over 3. So, part C, find the equation of L1 in terms of x. So, because these two straight lines are perpendicular to each other, so the slope, the product of the slope, that means the two slope multiply, will equals -1. Okay. So lnp divided by ln 1 over 3 equals -1. And then we can multiply to here. So lnp equals -ln 1 over 3. We cannot cancel the ln because there's a negative here. We can put it back. lnp equals ln 1/3 -1. And we can cancel the ln. So p is just 1 over 3 to the power -1 is just 3. So p is 3. Okay. Then find the equation in terms of x. So we know L1 equation, we found it in part B, right here. So we just copy y equal 1 over lnp x plus 1 plus q divided by lnp. Okay, and we know p equals 3, so L1 over ln3x plus 1 plus q divided by ln3. But we don't know the q values. Okay, so we have to find the q values. Okay, so we can find the q value by using this point. Because this point is on the graph of L2, so we can sub it back to the functions. And we know p is 3. So we'll do it here. -2 equals ln3 times x is -2 plus q plus 1. Okay. Yeah. So -2 ln3 plus q plus 1. I move it to here to -3. Okay. Actually, I can move all the things to here to make q subject. So if I move this one to the left hand side, that will be 2 ln3 minus 3. So that's the value of q. Okay, and finally I can just replace this q by 2 times ln3 minus 3. So 1 minus 3 is -2. So minus 2 here. Okay, so that's the answer for the part C, the equation of L1 in terms of x.